What's going on, everybody? Check out this clip from the Pre-Patch Podcast.
All right. Biggest category of them all. Here it is. This is the one to cap it all out. This is what you waited it all for. Game of the year. Recognizing a game that delivers the absolute best experience across all creative and technical fields. The nominees are Astro, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and Metaphor Refantazio. Gruffy, where did you land for your game of 2024?
I feel like it's such a prestigious title for a game, man, and honestly, I really wish I had a solid, just all throughout the board game that I can just put on there and be like, it nails every single aspect of it. I don't have one this year, but I do have a game that's I got a lot of enjoyment out of, a game that I found a lot of fun with friends and just a really good time. And I mentioned it earlier. It's a game that I'm bringing back up. And it's going to be Pal World. I don't know what drew me in so much about that game.
I can respect that.
But man, it was so much fun. And I have so much respect for not only like the game, but also the developers behind it and the way that they're just kind of, they're doing their own thing, man, and
Nintendo says otherwise. Nintendo says they're doing their thing.
But they really are, and they're even like pulling employment from like just like convenience store workers who just happen to know how to code and design, and they're giving them jobs and saying, here you go, just free reign, do your thing, and they're giving pals guns and shit, and it's awesome, man. It's a lot of fun, and I really was never expecting to have all of that and enjoyment out of that game, and it really shocked me. And so I know it might not seem like a game of the year worthy title for most, but for me, I think this year it definitely took it for me.
Hey man, it's your game of the year, man.
I respect it.
Exactly, and the last final hit on there too. It just was announced today that they're doing a collaboration with Terraria, which is my all-time favorite game, pretty much. So I gotta fucking give it to them, man. That's fucking sick, and I cannot wait to see what they do with the collaboration with Terraria. That's gonna be awesome.
Nice. All right,
yeah, man.
Bill, game of 2024.
So y'all know I love the Souls games. I love hard action games. I love all of that stuff. So the fact that Stellar Blade wasn't on this list hurt my soul a lot. And the fact that another Souls game or Souls-like game, I guess, is it still a Souls-like game, even if it's from Software? Regardless, the fact that a DLC is put onto the Game of the Year list, I'm still not the biggest fan of. But Stellar Blade is my Game of the Year. I haven't given it very many categories overall. I think I give it action game and soundtrack, but don't get it twisted. This game for me was the most fun that I had with a video game so far this year. I feel like the combat is close to perfect for what they were wanting to go and do with it. I feel like there's an ebb and flow to both enemies and and Eve's attack patterns. I feel like artistically, the game's art direction is unapologetically what the developers wanted it to be. Backlash or not, they made the game that they wanted, and it was widely accepted. People loved what they did with it.
Not just accepted,
they just recently
celebrated.
came out with, celebrated it. They just came out with the Nier Automata DLC, which for me that is the coolest thing, because that was one of the biggest, more valid criticisms that I was seeing about the game was, this is just a Nier Automata ripoff. And the fact that they were actually able to get a collaboration with Square and do a Nier Automata crossover type thing shows that there is mutual respect between the two for and that they can both exist.
Yeah,
I think
validation.
Fair enough.
Really cool.
Yep, validation 100%. As far as action games go, as far as difficulty goes, it's everything that I wanted in a game. And I had more fun with Stellar Blade than anything else this year, and it is my game of the year. And I'm sad that it's not been nominated, because I think it deserves it.
I agree.
Oh my man, I agree completely.
All right, Enigma, game of 2024, buddy.
Yeah, so I went back and forth on 3 actually, and I mean, it's no surprise Metaphor was on that list, right? I think that it deserves the nomination 100%. I'm right there with you. I don't understand the Shadow of the Erd Tree, you know, the DLC being here. I think there's many different many great games that could have been put on here. For instance, Stellar Blade. The two that really stuck out to me though, and again, I've been talking about both of them all fucking night long, right? Not Metaphor. Unfortunately, I have talked a lot about Metaphor quite a bit, but Helldivers 2 and Space Marine 2 have been, I think, some of the most entertainment that I've had out of gaming probably in the last couple of years, like the last 3 or 4 years, maybe. Everything else has just been kind of, oh, that was fun. I'm not gonna go back to it, you know, but oh, that was good, you know. Um, but when I like broke it down and I was like, man, like between these two games, we got Helldivers 2, we got Space Marine 2. I had to sit down and I had to be like, which one could I continue playing day in, day out for the next year if I had to? Which one of these could I do? And it always comes back to Helldivers. And so Helldivers, for me personally, is my game of the year. I'm a little upset that both of these, both Helldivers 2 and Space Marine 2, didn't get a fucking nomination at all for game of the year, which baffles my mind completely when you have, again, you have a DLC. And as much as Balatro is great, I don't think it's personally think it's game of the year material, but we're not going to get into that argument at all. But yeah, Helldivers 2, play it day in, day out. I continuously have fun with it. It's continuously being updated. They went to bat for their community when the whole PSN account situation came down, to the point that they basically told their community, hey, if you don't feel like this PSN account situation is something that you want to do, I refund the game. Don't play the game. That's going to send a bigger message to Sony than if you are complaining on the forums. Refund the game. Give us a bad review. And we'll go from there, right? I don't think that I have, and I said this when we talked about it on the podcast. I don't think I've ever personally in my entire life of gaming seen a company go, if you don't like something that's happening, don't like refund our game. That's the easiest way that we can get this message towards these publishers that we have. Like, that's the only company. Arrowhead is the only company that I have ever seen have the fucking balls to do that to Sony, nonetheless, right? Like like that's crazy to me. So I think it deserved a nomination. So that's my game of the year. Helldivers 2. So
Okay. I completely
Alright.
disagree with you fucking saying that, what you did about Balatro, you little dirty bastard. But
You snuck that in there too.
no arguing.
That's where the
it's fine.
friendship
I'll have my time. Don't you worry. Tony, what did you pick for your game of 2024?
It is really hard. I had a hard time here, boys. Like, so for me, Metaphor was kind of like the sleeping giant that just came out of nowhere for me.
Yeah.
Like, I did not expect this game to have me like it, I loved Black Myth Wukong. Like, loved that game. There's not highly enough I could speak about the game. I felt like it was gonna be game of the year. And you guys know how many awards they've already given Metaphor Refantazio. I gotta give it to Metaphor, bro. Like,
Solid
I
choice, man.
can't not call it the game of the year just because, like, I've never jumped into an RPG like this, and it sucked me into the point where I'm almost 100 hours in already, and it's sick. Like, this game is really good. Black Myth, you deserve, like, you really did deserve game of the year, because when I first started, I was like, bro, this game can't be beat. Between the visuals, the animations, the like Bill said, the Chinese lore, the it is so good. And Bill just hitting on the fact that the and Metaphor, those are actual, like, paintings. That's just even
Inspiration.
that just
Yeah.
did it for me. Like, just even better. Like, I was like, I didn't even know that. So now I'm gonna go back, look up the bosses and look at the paintings. The game is great. Metaphor Refantazio, hands down game of the year for me. It was Black Myth Wukong because I loved it from start to finish, but Metaphor, Black Myth is right there, but Metaphor took it for me because of the music and everything else incorporated into it.
All
Hell
right.
yeah.
Well, my game of 2024 this year, though I completely disagree with Enigma, because I want to take this just small moment to say, like, look at the nominees that are on here, right? When you're talking Shadow of the Erdtree from Software, when you're talking about Metaphor Refantazio, a large studio, when you're talking about Final Fantasy, Square Enix, when you're talking about Black Myth Wukong, Juggernaut, right? When you're talking about Metaphor Refantazio, right? And you look at, I just want to point out that Balatro is developed by a single person, right? It's a solo developed game, and he's the artist behind all of the poker and elements that are in there, right? That is a testament to what this person accomplished, and to even be nominated in this category, right? They should walk away with one of the most proudest moments to say, yeah, I was in the running. Though I didn't pick Balatro, as I have said it multiple times. I just want to take a second to local thunk. Like, you have done something that very few can say that they've done, like Vampire
true.
Survivors, right? A
man.
solo developed game that has taken over the world, whether it's your game or like style or not. This game is fucking amazing, and it deserves to at least be looked at.
Thank
and I'm
you.
super satisfied that,
Thank you.
or happy that it is nominated. What? Oh, you shut the fuck up.
I'm coming out. I am
Uh,
local thunk, guys.
yeah, okay,
It was
yeah,
me all along.
Anyway,
no,
uh,
I agree with you. This it's a very impressive feat.
and this game had it locked for me. Black Myth Wukong, I was right there with you, Tony. That game had it had it locked up, man. Like, I was like, this is it, game of the year. It nails everything, right? Until something happened, and that something was Stalker 2 came out. And I have to give Game of the Year to Stalker 2 because it's going to get overlooked for next year's Game of the Year. And I have dumped a fuck ton of time playing this game, right? Like, and watching this game. And I'm going to take an element that maybe not a lot of people are going to like. The developers of this game are literally in a fucking war zone with bombs and shit going off overhead, and they are developing and still launched this game. And if you like Stalker and you like, I fucking hate stories. You know this. I am like, it is known that I do not like story games. This game drops you in and does exactly what I love. Exist, right? I feel like I am living in a world where I'm like, great, I am like having all these different elements. It hits the things about Fallout that I like about Fallout, but it's not Fallout. It hits the elements of Tarkov that I love about Tarkov. It is a fucking phenomenal game, and it really is amazing. And I am calling it the game of the year because it will not get nominated next year, and it deserves to be looked at and appreciated for what it is. It's Stalker, but better. And it is a phenomenal game. So that is my game of the year.
Oh, yeah.
If it hadn't been Stalker, it would have been Black Myth Wukong, or Balatro. So yeah.
Respect.
All right.
Hey, I hope you guys enjoyed the patch notes. And if you want to join us live, we stream every single Thursday at 10:30 p.m. Eastern here on YouTube as well as on Twitch. Also, if you miss a show, you can always catch us at anchor.fm/prepatch podcast or wherever you listen to your podcast. Thank you, and I hope you enjoyed the show.